Hello, welcome to the Beard Out Podcast. Podcast where we talk about the two greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al Yankovic. My Aunt Lala and my dad are the hosts of the show. Thanks for listening to the Beard Out Podcast, part of the OddPods Media Network. Stay weird and enjoy the show.
Here we go.
Well, hey, how are you doing? Have a seat. Have a drink. Boy, I can glad to see ya. What can you say? Where's Lala?
Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, it's your favorite time of the week, right? It's probably Friday morning if you're listening to us when this comes out. But if not, whenever you're listening to it, it's probably your favorite time of the week. But anyway, this is the Beard Owl Podcast. It's a podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. And I am Lauren. I am always here. And because this is a very special episode, my brother John is not here because he's not very special. So I have very special people on in his stead. And this week I have longtime friend of the show, but first-time guest of the show, Dayton. Hello, how are you?
Hello, hello, hello. And thank you so much for having me on and letting me continue my Weird Al education.
I love being part of anybody's Weird Al education. I feel like that's part of my role as a Weird Al evangelist, that I really that I need to make sure I continue to do that for people. So yes, I'm so excited that you wanted to come on, and I think you've kind of already thrown your hat into the ring for another episode at some point in the future when I start talking about the Weird Al's videos, which, spoiler alert, that's something that's going to happen at some point in the future, not too far from now. So hooray. But yeah, so Dayton is here to continue our most underrated track on insert weird album here. And this week we're tackling Alpocalypse. That's right. Alpocalypse. And I always like Alpocalypse. When did that come out? That came out in 2011. Mm-hmm. And I always forget when Alpocalypse came out because that was a weird Weird Al blank space in my history of catching things when they came out. But anyway, I digress. Before we get too deep into this, Dayton, please tell the listeners of the Beard Al Podcast what your show is, what you do, what you've got, what are you all about, sir?
Okay, well, thank you. Yes, the Dockingbay77 podcast is it's what happens after I've been on other people's podcasts, because my friends at a film buy had me on for theirs, and I was like, I like this way too much to not do it all the time. And so I came up with the idea of doing my own, and instead of just picking one theme, which is a little bit too restrictive for me, I decided to do whatever I want to talk about. And it's mostly pop culture, entertainment related, mostly music, movies. But we have covered some comic books. We have covered a few books and Netflix, our favorite Netflix series, stuff like that. We do top 7 lists, which are a lot of fun, which you were a part of one of those, top 7 Weird Al original songs. That was great. We do some versus episodes where we pit, 2 different albums or 2 different movies against each other, things like that. And then we also have specific focus on a certain record or a certain movie. I am very lucky to have a lot of people that are nerds and geeks and can sound smart when discussing a lot of different topics. And, they make me look good because most of them are smarter than I am. So, which is just a lot of fun. And we have, most of us have been friends for a long time. And so that comes through, I think, when we discuss stuff. So some upcoming episodes that would give you a kind of feel of what we talk about. We're kicking off July with our top 7 songs of the 70s. Ooh. One of my favorite decade for music, I think. We're covering Who Framed Roger Rabbit with the guys from the Surely You Can't Be Serious podcast. And for our 100th episode coming up July 12th, which I'm super excited. I know you're further along than I am, but 100.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal, right? I didn't think I'd make it this far. But we are discussing Almost Famous from Cameron Crowe.
Oh, that's one of my
right?
favorite movies.
So good, so good. And and then we're kicking off another series of episodes, which I believe at one point or another, you and Russ will be a part of, where we're talking about records from 1976, and we're kicking that series off with Jailbreak from Thin Lizzy.
Nice. Yes. Yep. Fun story. I totaled a car to The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy.
I'm glad you're okay.
I'm fine. It was almost 20 years ago. But it's one of those things. Anytime that song comes on, I was like, I totaled a car to this song.
That's okay. I totaled a car to George Bush. So, we all have our things.
We all have our things. I was, yeah. So, yeah, everybody's got, at least I didn't total a car to Weird Al. I don't know how that would have gone down. I lost my favorite Doobie Brothers tape in the car, though. It was in the tape deck. And, when the car got totaled, I was like, my Doobie Brothers tape.
See,
No.
My car got totaled too. And we ended up scrapping it to some friend mechanic of ours. And a year later, I got off an exit off the interstate and I pulled up behind my old car. And I was so heartbroken because I'm like, that's my car.
That's delightful.
It hurt, but I'm okay now.
Uh-huh.
I'm okay now.
As long as you're okay now. Yeah, we all carry on. We all carry on.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So yeah, folks, if you're listening to the Beard Owl podcast, odds are you are a geek, you are a nerd, or you identify as something in that particular stratosphere. So I would recommend checking out Dockingbay77 because they cover all the kind of stuff that you enjoy that is not quite as esoteric as the Beard Owl podcast. we have dug a firm little hole for ourselves, and we are the king of that hole. But
and you reign very well.
We do. Yeah, look at I would much rather be a very big fish in a very small pond than anything else. We are the number one podcast about both beer and Weird Al. So I love it. Okay. Speaking of beer, I have one. It's a beer that I have had on this show many times before. It is a beer that is a mainstay in the refrigerator at our house, and it is the New Belgium Voodoo Ranger Juice Force IPA. I have no reason for drinking it to go with this album. It's just literally, it's a beer that I have here. It's a beer that I like very much. And if I need to make a stretch, I guess, Alpocalypse, End of the World, the logo for any of the Voodoo Rangers is a skeleton guy. So,
that works.
It's kind of an apocalyptic or an alpocalyptic situation occurring. So let's just go with that because
sure.
I just enjoy it very much. And, you said you came prepared. You have some kind of beverage.
I did come prepared. Now, I just want to let everybody know that Lauren has been a bad influence on me.
Oh.
And, because of her Melanie episode, and she was drinking the watermelon hard Mountain Dew. I am now a regular drinker of said hard Mountain Dew.
Yes.
So I have a case in my fridge right now. So with me, I have the Mountain Dew flavored hard Mountain Dew. So here we go. We'll crack this open. There we go. There we go.
I had to pop myself a beer.
That's good stuff.
It's so good. I think I still have. I've got some hard Mountain Dew in the beer fridge still.
That's all I have.
I almost grabbed one. That would have been funny.
That would have been funny, actually. Yes.
We could have got Baja blasted together.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I didn't hate the watermelon either. I'm usually not a fan of that flavor, but you know what? That was actually pretty good.
It's not bad because it's not an overwhelming watermelon flavor.
Right. No, actually, the live wire is probably my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all so. I'm a big Baja Blast person. If you ask me what my favorite Mountain Dew period is, it's just Baja Blast. So if you add alcohol into the Baja Blast equation, which now
right.
They have made it so that I don't have to manually do that, I think it's great.
Nice.
So
nice.
I don't feel bad having influenced
no, you
in
shouldn't.
that way.
I made that decision. I'm old enough now, to go ahead. Because for years, I just didn't drink. And I'm 52 now. If I want to have a sip here and there, if I want to have a beverage here and there, my biggest problem was finding things I liked to drink. That was my biggest hurdle.
That's fair.
Yeah. I had some friends. We went out to go see a football game. at a nice restaurant, and they're like, we'll buy the first round. So I bought something and I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. And then I tried another one. I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. So that was my biggest hurdle, is finding something I like to drink.
Well, it's trial and error, but it's a delightful trial and error.
Yes. You usually feel pretty good afterwards regardless. So yeah,
Right.
I see it.
Yeah. So you're there with it. I love it. I love it. I love being able to, yeah, they're not bad. And
No.
I would also recommend to you, if you like those, Bacardi does like a rum infused kind of thing that you can get in cans.
Okay.
They're just like a Bacardi mixer, and they sell them. They're probably alongside the seltzers. And there's one that's like it's a oh my God, what is it? It's tastes almost like a Mai Tai, and
okay.
it's fruity and delicious and delightful. And Russ and I have picked up, like, we've probably the past 2 weekends we've grabbed a 6-pack of those and have enjoyed. There's a pina colada one. There's like more of like a tropical orangey rum one, and then one that's more like a rum punch. And
Gotcha.
they're great. They're great.
Nice.
So
right.
I would
I will
recommend
look out
those.
for those.
If you like those, then you would probably like these as well.
All right.
Oh, fun stuff. So on to the bookkeeping portion of this particular kind of episode is just running through the tracks on Alpocalypse, so that the people listening, who probably already know what we're working with, kind of know what we're working with here, right? So like I said before, Alpocalypse came out in 2011, and half of it was born from the Internet Leaks EP. And the line is kind of firmly drawn between what came out on the Internet Leaks and what was made to kind of fill out Alpocalypse. Because this album is very front heavy, and most of that is
okay, I'm glad you said that, because I kind of feel the same way. I was like, wait a minute, all the stuff kind of feels, okay. Yeah. I totally get that. Yes.
Yeah. And most of that is the Internet Leaks material, right? So the stuff that was put out. Yeah. Because this was Weird Al's way of kind of like, he saw that the scope of how music was released was kind of changing, and it's like, okay, so it's not just I can put out an album and people are going to go buy a physical copy of it somewhere, right? It was more like, oh, the internet is a thing with music now. How does this all work, right? So he did the Internet Leaks EP, which actually, if let's because that came out in 2009, the Internet Leaks EP, and the Internet Leaks EP had Whatever You Like, Craigslist, Skipper Dan, CNR, and Ringtone. Okay?
Okay.
So that's what was on that. And then 2 years later, you get Alpocalypse, which includes all of those tracks with some additional ones to fill it out.
Right.
And Alpocalypse opens up with Perform This Way, which is a direct parody of Born This Way by my girl, Stephanie Germanotta, Lady Gaga.
Right. Okay.
And do you know the story behind how Perform This Way came to be?
Okay, so I was going to ask about that, because I did read it almost didn't make the album because there was some kind of misunderstanding or miscommunication. I couldn't find anything else. So
yes. So what happened was Weird Al did the thing that he always does, and he tries to go to the artist for permission. So he went through Lady Gaga's people, and they said, okay, well, she's going to need to see the lyrics. So he wrote all of the lyrics and sent them off to Lady Gaga's people. And they said, okay, well, she's going to need to hear it. And so he went ahead and recorded a demo of it. And then the people came back to Weird Al and were like, no, thank you. So he went ahead and cleaned it up, and he was going to just release it as a non-profit single with all of the proceeds going to a charity that Lady Gaga, is in support of. I can't remember right now what it was, but it was something that she would be all for. Then Lady Gaga actually finally caught wind of this and basically said to her people, why did you say no to Weird Al? Of course I want to let this happen.
Right? Okay.
So then it happened. And what I think is delightful about Perform This Way is that it's very much in the vein of Smells Like Nirvana, where it's not poking fun at the artist necessarily. Right. It's basically putting a magnifying glass on the quirk that makes this artist popular. And at the time for Lady Gaga, it was her outfits, her outlandish things that she did. And that's what this song kind of picks at. And I think it's great.
Yeah, to me, listening to it a lot lately, it almost felt like a compliment to her. Like, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and I don't care if it's cool with you or not. And so that's how I kind of listen to it as, as more of a compliment as, hey, do your thing and you do it well. So keep doing it.
For sure. And that's exactly what it does. That's exactly what it does. And beautiful segue, because what I think is one of the most beautiful Weird Al compliments is track 2 on Alpocalypse, which is CNR, which is a style parody of the White Stripes and the whole Jack White kind of thing.
Right.
And it's one of the most perfect style parodies that exists. And I don't know if you've seen it, but if you haven't, check out the Weird Al Tiny Desk concert, because he did that in Detroit. And he had the nerve, the gumption, the gall to do a Jack White style parody in Jack White's hometown and just be like, yep, I'm just going to do this in front of people who are probably like really big fans of this guy. And like, you know what? It is what it is. And the fact that it's turning Charles Nelson Riley into like a Chuck Norris character is fabulous.
Well, I'm listening to this, and of course, I grew up watching him on different things, of course, Match Game and stuff like that. And to me, it's a great song, and of course, it sucks you in by being a White Stripes, sound alike. But it's very much, as far as lyrically speaking, it's funnier when you're a little bit older, like I am, and know who he's talking about and can picture him doing all those different things. And of course, the 2-hour piggyback ride just makes me laugh every single time.
Every time,
because I can picture it.
Oh my God, you sure can. I will say that like I'm not old enough to have like watched Match Game when it was on. However, I was obsessed with the Game Show Network when I was like in high school and college. So I watched so much Match Game. So when this came out, I was like, I understand everything about this, and it's great.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. It's a very fun song. Yes,
very fun, very fun. And then it moves on to another song with a 3-letter title, TMZ, which is a parody of "You Belong with Me" by Taylor Swift.
Right.
About TMZ.
And you know what? This captures the ridiculousness of TMZ very well. And it's one of those things when I would see an article and, from TMZ, I'm like, okay, I'm going to ignore this because I know it's, I know it's fluff. I know it's, I love the different examples he uses in this song. It's so much fun. So much fun.
Oh yeah. It's a whole lot of fun. And I mean, dollars for donuts. I'd rather listen to TMZ over "You Belong with Me" pretty much any day. And that is no shade at all at Taylor Swift, because I 1000% respect what that woman is doing and kind of what she's made of herself. But this is fun. This is just fun. Yeah. Absolute fun. Then we go into a style parody of Weezer in Skipper Dan, which, it's funny. It's delightful. Yes. But what bugs me, is, I don't know if you know this, but on the Bad Hair Day album in '96 and the polka on that album, Buddy Holly by Weezer was supposed to be in that polka. Weird Al had recorded Buddy Holly as a bit in that polka, and to the point where the liner notes were printed, all this, that, and the other. And then Rivers Cuomo was like, actually, no, never mind. So they had to manually remove Buddy Holly from that polka. And
really?
Yeah, Weezer still thanked in the liner notes of Bad Hair Day, but Buddy Holly is not in the polka on Bad Hair Day. And, then you fast forward a bit, and it's like you got this style parody, which is great and totally lovely. And then when Weezer did their freaking parody of that parody cover of Africa by Toto, there's just Weird Al in the video because they'd like changed their minds. I guess they're cool with it now. And it's like, you know what? I don't know. It bothers me. But I like Skipper Dan. I think it's a very sad song.
See, I don't. Well, I love the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
I love the ride of both at Disneyland and Disney World. And so this one is just so much fun for me. And it actually, the episode we did with you, our top 7 original Weird Al songs, this was on my list.
Yes, it was. And it's great. I just think it's sad because this guy, he's like, I wanted to do so much more than this. This is all I'm doing. It's a soul-sucking kind of thing, but in a great fun way.
But in a great fun way. Hey, there's lots of things I wanted to do when I was young, but yes, it's, you roll with the punches, and at least he gets to work for the Disney company.
That's for sure. He gets to do something. Oh my God. And then we have a polka in the middle of an album where it freaking belongs. So thank you for that. It's polka,
Right?
It's Polka Face. And fun fact, this song opens and closes with the same song, which doesn't happen in any other polka. But yeah, so this, I don't know. When we start getting into like, I think after Running with Scissors, the polka stopped making sense to me because I don't know the music.
Okay. Oh.
Other than like a song or two, and like I love Lady Gaga, and I was like, oh, I know that, but I don't know what this day and night stuff is. I don't know what's happening. What is baby? I don't know what's going on.
Well, that's Justin Bieber. That one I knew.
I figured that out eventually.
Well, see, I look at this one in particular, but I look at his polkas as almost like a polka version of, now that's what you call music.
For sure.
So I enjoy it. And actually, but I think one of the tracks I recognize going through it, I'm like, oh, I know that one. I couldn't necessarily tell you who the artist was, but I definitely recognized the song, and most of the artists I did know. So like I said, I'm continuing my education. So does every polka that he does revolve around the current pop songs?
For the most part, except for the first one.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, except for the polka in 3D, which is Polkas on 45, which covers everything from like the Doors and Jimi Hendrix up through what was current.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, very good
That's
question.
what I thought.
Most of them do. The polka medleys, then on Alpocalypse in 93, you have the Bohemian polka, which is just a polka version of Bohemian Rhapsody, which was only current because of Wayne's World. So that's why he did that. I said that. I said this on the episode about that, but as I'm recording with you, that hasn't come out yet. So I'm just going to tell you because it's one of my most fun facts. I had a word of the day thing, and Scaramouche is a real word.
Is it? You know what? I just thought they were making something up.
So did we. My guest Tim from the Weird Pals podcast also thought it was a made up word. No, it is someone who is simultaneously like cocky and like cowardly.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So like the cowardly lion is a Scaramouche. So it's somebody
Gotcha.
who puts on like I'm so brave, but then when like actually faced with something, they're like, no. So
gotcha. Okay.
So again, that makes the thunderbolt of lightning, very, very frightening line make more sense.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
See, and and it's funny because going through this record and going back through his other stuff, kind of prepare for this. I know you've said it before, and I know my friend John, who's a big Weird Al fan, has said it before, that some of his songs, they don't translate to later. Like they're not relevant like 15 years later because they don't necessarily make sense. And I thought about that, and going through, especially listening to Craigslist or whatever, but I looked at all of his albums as little time capsules because you can look at what he's talking about, look at the jokes, and you can kind of figure out, oh, okay, well, like eBay, for one thing, when that album came out, eBay was just taking off, was just becoming a big thing. And I'm like, okay, so I look at his albums as time capsules because, yeah, you might not get it to the younger crowd, but at the same time, you can go back and get a little education what was going on when that album came out. So I think that's a great, great thing.
Oh, for sure. And absolutely great segue into Craigslist being the next track on the album, which is a delightful style parody of The Doors with, at the time, the not late, but now currently late, great Ray Manzarek playing keyboards on the song. And it's one of the last things he did before he passed, which I think is wonderful and a testament to like the respect that Weird Al has kind of garnered throughout his career, that like a door would be like, oh, okay, sure, I'll do that.
Right? That's pretty awesome, actually. It's pretty awesome. And it sounds great. Sounds so good. And the video is like Weird Al is giving his best Jim Morrison. So maybe he should put him in the movie. I'm just saying.
He should have. That would have been something else.
That would have been something else.
Oh, God. Then we jump into Party in the CIA, which is a parody of Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus, which made a little bit of a record in that Miley Cyrus and her father, William Raymond Cyrus, were the first parent and offspring pair to have been parodied by Weird Al.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's all. That is kind of a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's funny because 2 weeks ago, I talked with Tim from the Weird Pals podcast, and we did this for Alpocalypse, and Achy Breaky Song is on that album. So, we're knocking the Cyruses out right here in, one foul swoop.
See, what's funny is I was listening to this, I'm like going, how did he come up with the CIA? What did it just rhyme with USA? Was that how he got there? I would love to hear how he works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where he comes up with the inspirations. I know the inspiration for Skipper Dan came from when he's riding the ride and he heard the person make the comment about the failed acting career. But, where his brain goes for some of these songs, I'm like, how did he come up with that? And I'm so envious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I would just love to shrink down like Magic School Bus style and go into Weird Al's brain and see how stuff works. But, they haven't developed that technology yet, despite what Mrs. Frizzle would tell me. Up next, we have Ringtone, which is purportedly a style parody of Queen. I don't get the Queen of it all.
See, I kind of do. I kind of hear it. It's not super strong, but I kind of hear it in the guitars and a little bit in the vocal in the vocals, but it's definitely not strong. Like if you're not listening for it, I don't think you hear it. So,
yeah.
But I think that's why the song in general misses for me, because I don't hear the Queen enough. But,
yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And also the fact that we're I can't even tell you the last time I had my phone on anything but silent.
Oh, I have to have mine on because when I'm at work, I don't notice the vibration. So I have to crank mine way up. Otherwise I can't hear it either because I have cars and other kinds of other noise, dogs and things like that making noise. So yes, I hear mine. Mine's currently the theme song from Bob's Burgers. So.
Oh, that's a great one. That's, I mean, if you got to have a ringtone, might as well be the theme from Bob's Burgers. I can't even tell you what mine even. I think mine's just one of the default ones on my iPhone. That's just some kind of a horn. I don't know.
Well, that's how my daughter is when she was in school. Hers was always on silence. She doesn't. I have not heard her volume turned up, or her text tones or anything for years. So
yeah. that's how some people roll. So yeah,
right?
Ringtone's a bit of a dated track, but
yes,
track
it is.
that I think is not dated is Another Tattoo, which is a parody of Nothing on You by B.O.B. featuring Bruno Mars.
Right. Yes, and this is very much. I see people like that make me think of the song all the time at work. Walking down the street, they have there's this one guy, I swear every inch of his face and neck and arms are covered. So yes, this rings very true now, and I'm apparently not following suit because I'm the last one in my house that does not have a tattoo. So apparently I need to get going.
Yeah, I don't have any tattoos either. Russ has several and they're delightful and lovely. I actually played a part in my brother getting his first and so far only tattoo. I had to watch it happen. I lost a bet, right, with my brother because he's a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles. And the year they were in the Super Bowl with the Patriots, I was like, there's no way the Eagles are winning this Super Bowl. And my brother's like, you want to bet? And so I was like, sure, because I truly didn't care who won that Super Bowl. Anyway, basically, I don't know what I would have got if the Patriots won, but what my brother got because the Eagles won was for me to contribute to him getting a Philadelphia Eagles tattoo. So then I had to go watch it happen and know that I put money towards putting that filth on my brother's body. And that's the way it goes. But I have something noodling in my head if I want to get a tattoo for myself, and it will, of course, be something Weird Al themed, and it will contain lyrics from my personal Weird Al theme song, I'll Be Mellow When I'm Dead.
Right.
So I'm going with the line, I don't need to prove I'm cool.
Right.
Because
okay. I like that.
It's if you know Weird Al, you know that line, and it's like some kind of stylized accordion in there somewhere. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen. I'm really bad with needles. I passed out when I got my ears pierced. So, I guess we'll see what happens. I think I've gotten better since then, but who even knows?
I'm right there with you. I'm pretty good. Like when they take blood, at the doctor. I'm really good if they're distracting me.
Yeah.
But the moment I know they're doing it, it's lights out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't even tell you how many times I've passed out having like the most like inconsequential medical thing occur. So yeah, it's going to be something I'm going to really have to like prepare for it. But I feel like if Russ is there with me, I'll probably be okay.
Right.
And so it's nice to have a person that I'm like, you know what, if you're there, I'll probably be fine because you have several of these and you're not dead. So I can probably get one. But yeah, I don't understand this another tattoo art, person like all over the place. Although I do like it's Boba Fett. He's playing clarinet.
Yes, I do like that too. Very much so.
It's just funny. And then after that, we have If That Isn't Love, which is a style parody of Hanson, which is a delightful little Weird Al love song.
It is. It very much is.
It is.
It's silly on purpose, but I like how it's actually better than a lot of serious love songs. It's a lot of fun because there's things in there that I'm like, yeah, that does make sense for it to be truly to be love. So yeah, I think there's some great examples in there for sure.
There absolutely are. Absolutely are. And then we move on to the only Weird Al parody that has the exact same title as a song it is parodying. And it is Whatever You Like, which is a parody of Whatever You Like by T.I. I think this one's great too, because it's very realistic.
Right.
I feel like this is I don't love this song by any stretch of the imagination. But I think the message in it is very pure. Because it distills down to, I don't have much, but I'm going to treat you the best I can with what little I have. And I think that's a delightful message. Yeah.
See, I do enjoy the lyrics of the song, but I'm not a fan of the original. So this one doesn't work for me, but I do enjoy the lyrics because it's a lot more on my level because I do actually have a Costco card and, so I get that. And, it's like, honey, where you want to go? Where are we eating tonight? So yeah, I get a lot more of this lyrically than the original. So yeah, I dig it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's balling, but with very small balls. And
well, okay.
I don't know. This just came out of my mouth. And then the album wraps up with Stop Forwarding That Crap to Me, which is a style parody of the work of Jim Steinman, known for his work with Meatloaf and Bonnie Tyler and that ilk.
So I wonder if you feel the same about this song that I do. So I think it's funny because I do remember getting all those crappy emails from people, and now it's more of a social media thing. People are sharing, memes and stuff like that instead. So it's fallen off, but I really do remember being super annoyed by that stuff. But I'm not a fan too much of Steinman's work, so this song is kind of like it's fine.
Yeah, no, I get that. There is some contention in my house because I love the album Bad Outta Hell. I don't care for much else. Okay. But I love the album Bad Outta Hell. But Russ hates Meatloaf so much that I don't think I'm ever gonna have that album. Because there's only so much that you can make somebody put up with, and I understand that. But all that said, I'm like, I don't love Stop Forwarding That Crap to Me either. Although I do remember getting forwarded emails, and to this day, if something gets forwarded to me, I was like, I hate that capital FWD : mess. Like I just don't like seeing it. But this is how we are. This is what we do. So that kind of wraps up what is on Alpocalypse, and we're going to take a short break for some ads and some show promos and all that good stuff. And as I've been saying with the ads, if you don't like what the ads are saying, then you better change what you're Googling, because it's based off of all of that stuff. And so we'll be back here in a couple of minutes to talk about what Dayton and I think are the most underrated tracks on Alpocalypse. So stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Beer in Front. Every week I'll talk about a beer that maybe we've forgotten along the way while we get those check-ins and badges. Being the Chicago beer guy, I'll also talk about great craft beer in the city of Chicago. And remember, sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet. That's Beer in Front, part of the OddPods Media Network.
Those ads were great, weren't they?
I took a nap. It's good.
Yep. See, that's all my guests seem to take naps during the ad breaks, and that's totally fine. Totally fine. So, Dayton, you get to go first. And before you talk about what you think is the most underrated track, I would like you to kind of rationalize like what got you there. Like, what does like underrated mean to you, and how did that lead you to the track that you picked for this album?
Okay, so with that, bear with me for just a second. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, I was exposed to Weird Al in the 90s because I'm old. And, in the late 80s with his parodies, of course, Fat and Like a Surgeon and whatever. But I saw those on MTV because I did not hear them on radio. So they're always on MTV. So I knew Weird Al was still around, but I didn't hear his stuff. So my question to you is, for a casual fan like me, how am I supposed to know without asking my Weird Al super fans, friends, where am I supposed to find it? How am I supposed to hear it? Because the top 40 record, top 40 stations are not playing them. Rock stations are not going to play them. So, and the question kind of plays into my rationale for my underrated stuff. So where am I supposed to hear him unless I have to go searching for him?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I mean, I don't even know if I'm the person to answer that for you, because I've always kind of been the person that's like knowing when the Weird Al stuff is happening.
Right.
Like I've never been surprised by a Weird Al release because I've always known that it's coming because I've been in that. However, this is not a question to answer for you now because he's not putting any new, music out like album wise. But, your best bet this day and age, follow Weird Al on social media and Facebook or whatever. And anytime anything new he's doing, like he shares the crap out of it. Like I know that he's the voice and singing a song of a VW bus on some Disney Junior show that's going to be on Disney Plus. And I'm telling all of my friends with kids, hey, watch this because, I want your children to be exposed to the glory that is Weird Al. And because the song, I don't even know what it's called, but it's a bop. Like it's going to be good, But like back in the day, I don't even know because like it wasn't. Yeah, if it's not getting like played on radio and stuff, it's just you kind of have to be in the know of Weird Al stuff. And there's a big stretch there, like after MTV stopped playing videos, he kind of became a very word of mouth sort of thing.
Okay, right. Okay.
So I was just lucky to be in the circles where the words of I was getting it from the mouths that had it,
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, that's kind of played into what my underrated track is. And I took a lot of time looking through the track listing, listening to the songs, and there's lots of parodies that are very recognizable on this album when we've gone down the whole thing. And I don't know what favorite songs the fans have, you know what I mean? And I don't, and how they react when they see them in concert. So mine's based purely on me as a casual fan.
I love that perspective, by the way.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad because that's what you're going to get.
Russ and I were talking earlier, and I gave him my rationale for like what I picked and all this, that, and the other. And he's like, well, he gave me all this other information. I was like, I know. I said, but like, that's my rationale from my perspective. I was like, I know Dayton's going to come with something completely different from somebody who is a more casual Weird Al fan. And that's what I want from this. So I'm very glad that that's what you're coming with.
Okay, well, good. Okay. Well, hopefully I don't disappoint with my choice. So we mentioned it earlier, obviously going through the track listing, and I've already talked about it on my episode, but it's Skipper Dan.
Yeah.
Because I am so mad that I didn't hear this, when it came out, on Internet Leaks and when it came out on this record, because I'm a huge Disney fan. And I dig, when I dig Weezer. So it's like missing out on this in my brain. I've missed out on this for over 12 years. And I think that's very, very sad. The Weezer's been around what it seems at this point, it seems like forever, but I mean, it hasn't
years,
been, but
right?
Yeah, So they've been around longer than my daughter and longer than my marriage. So, and they have a very broad reach. So you combine that with Disney parks, and whenever we go to Disney World, it's like going home. So that's, my happy place. And so my wife and my daughter and I, we all love Disney. And to me, it's like this song should be required to be played at the Disney parks. You know what I mean? If you're making a Disney playlist, this song should be on that Disney playlist. Along with all the songs from all the movies, it needs to be there. It's fun. And when he's doing his own lines from the ride, I'm doing my own in my head because I know most of the jokes. I know most of the stuff. And I would love to be a skipper on the Jungle Cruise. In fact, when I retire from the USPS, that's my goal, is to get a job at Disney World and be a skipper. That's what I want to do.
I love that.
Well, and the song is just fun. It's really, I mean, you said it's sad. It's sad, but I don't care. It's still fun.
Right. Well, though you're hitting the nail on the head of the kind of music that I like, by the way. I love songs that are overall fun, but there's a thread of sadness in them.
Okay. Yeah.
So like that's the kind of thing that I absolutely love. And yes, I absolutely agree with you that this should be required listening for people going to Disney parks because, you know, people going to Disney parks are going there for the experience. And the people, the cast members at the Disney parks are there to provide that experience. And I don't often think that the people going to the Disney parks think about what's going on inside the cast members. Like where they're at, like, because like we're all people, you know, and what I think the Skipper Dan song does is it humanizes that role because this guy is bringing joy to countless people day in and day out. But he himself is like, I wanted more for myself than this.
Right.
And I think for you, it's great because you're looking at it as a, like, after I'm done with things, I'm going to go do this thing, you know, whereas this guy was like, I did this hoping to do something else after. It's backwards.
Right. And you know what? He can trade with me. He can go carry mail and, you know, walk in the rain and snow instead. And I can, no, I'm just kidding. But, and to me, as many times as we've been on the Jungle Cruise, the skipper really matters because if you have one that's not quite as quick-witted, then it really does feel like they're just delivering the lines. But if you get a good skipper, man, you remember that ride, you know, and you almost, because there's been a couple times, well, we've only ridden it once on a trip because the skipper we had was so good. We were afraid the next skipper wouldn't be as good. So we didn't ride it again. So the skipper matters. And I understand this guy's having a bummer, you know, a run here, but the skipper matters. And so that's why Skipper Dan is my choice. And people just need to hear it. And yes, it does humanize them. And there is something going on behind those smiles. And so, yes, it works on a lot of different levels.
It truly does. I love that. I'd love to be walking through a Disney park sometime and just hear Skipper Dan playing.
Wouldn't that be great?
I would love like Weird Al Day at Disney. I would go and just enjoy myself.
Well, he's doing more stuff with them. Isn't he on an episode of The Muppets Mayhem, or am I just crazy?
Yeah, no, you're not crazy. That actually,
okay, see, I haven't gotten to it yet. I just started watching it. But see, maybe coming soon.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, it would be great. I mean, there's so much going on now. One of my friends and listeners to the show, Bob, hey Bob, messaged me the other day and he said, "Why didn't you tell me that Weird Al was on an episode of Muppets Mayhem? Like I'm supposed to fill everybody in on these things."
It's your job, right?
But it's been mentioned on the show, you know, many times. He's a little behind listening. Sorry, Bob, I'm throwing you under the bus a little bit. Catch up though. Yeah, so at the premiere of Muppets Mayhem, Weird Al was there and he was actually wearing a Roosevelt shirt, which are the shirts that, and so now we're like, is there going to be a Weird Al Roosevelt's line? Because I would like turn myself inside out and like explode. Like goodbye to like any extra money that I have because I would get all of them. It would be the best thing I think that like had ever happened. In the last two pictures I have of myself with Weird Al, I'm in a Roosevelt shirt and he is not. And then I see this picture of Weird Al in a Roosevelt shirt and I was like, why couldn't you have worn that when I met you? Because that would have been so perfect. But yeah, so I don't know. I would love for something to happen if you know, because I know that Disney does all those events, and if I don't even need like a month or anything. I just need a day. The 27th of any month, just make it Weird Al Day, and I think you'll have a lot of happy nerds.
I'm sure.
So,
I'm sure.
You know, and they've got the Star Wars thing going. You know, so
sure, why not?
It's all part of it. It's all part of it. But we have a little bit of time here, and I do have a different underrated track that I would like to talk about a little bit.
Of course.
And I'm just going to give my reasoning on it. I love your pick. I absolutely love your pick. And I'm coming at this from, like being deeply entrenched in the whole Weird Al-osphere. And Skipper Dan got performed quite a bit on the unfortunate return of the ridiculously self-indulgent ill-advised vanity tour, right? So that is one that Weird Al fans are here for and they enjoy, and he loves doing it. And one of my favorite, my two favorite tracks on this album are CNR and Craigslist. They're absolutely my favorites. I think they're beautiful style parodies. They are done so well, and they're funny, and they just hit the nail on the head of what they're trying to do. But then those have also been performed, recently. And so like Weird Al fans love them. And I sit back and I think, like, what's a great song that Weird Al fans don't even talk about all that much? And I landed on If That Isn't Love.
No, okay.
Yeah. And John and I did an episode of that fairly recently back in May for our parents' wedding anniversary day.
I remember.
Yeah. So we did that. And so I guess maybe like I'm kind of in a space where like I've listened to that song a lot recently, but it's also like, I think it's like you said before, there's a lot to this that is more straightforward love songs don't even do. Like this feels very real. There's a real relationship happening here, and it's a slightly, lopsided real relationship in this song, but I feel like it's very earnest and honest, and I just love the line rather, you're so beautiful, you make a sunset look like a big fat turd. And
so romantic.
And that's the reality of the song. Like Weird Al said that to his wife, and she was like, what are you talking about? And then this song was born. And so I just think there's something magical in silly romance, like romance doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you light up my life, like you're the most blah 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 blah. Like there's value in that, obviously, but silly romance is probably my favorite kind of romance, and this song nails silly romance absolutely perfectly. So I just feel like more people need to talk about this song too. It's a great Hanson parody and a style parody, and it's fun.
Yeah, and I think more people relate more to the silly romance than the ones that are in movies or in the truly, those love songs and I can tell you this is a lot more close to how my wife and I are than, we watch our fair share of rom-coms, but we're more on the slapstick and silly side of that spectrum. So
yeah, no, you have to. I don't even remember what it was, but Russ said something very, very silly to me yesterday, and I was like, oh God, you're so romantic. And it's like, no, but that's what it should be. That's absolutely what it should be. Like whatever if you feel in your heart that like you're like a deep, dark, like romantic kind of person, then find somebody who's on that same wavelength, right? But like not everybody wants that. There are plenty of people that like want you don't look like poop today, I like it, like that's great. That's great. I think that's how it ought to be. So that's why I picked this, because it's a fun little love song, and it's one of the Weird Al songs that I almost considered pulling for our wedding vows, but I didn't. I pulled from Jackson Park Express instead.
No, nice.
But I thought
this one could work. I could definitely hear this one working.
Yeah, I almost pulled from this one, but I went with another one. But this one was in my heart when I was doing it, because it's like, no, this is what love is.
It's funny because when I was going through, because when I first started listening to this record on Spotify, I was quote unquote liking or favoriting songs that I was considering. This was actually one of the songs I was considering. This one and Craigslist, along with of course Skipper Dan. Those are the three I was working on. So I'm glad you picked this one, because now I got two of the three I had marked discussed. So yay!
Yeah. See, I knew you were going to do a good job with this. You did a great job, and. Again, I love that. I love your perspective on this too, because you're coming into this from a completely different place than me or the guest that I had on 2 weeks ago, who also has a podcast about Weird Al that refers to him as our patron saint.
Right,
so
yeah.
it's a different discussion, but it's a fun discussion, and I love that your appreciation is there and is growing, and it delights me.
Well, it's like I said, I've been aware of him for so long, but I've never owned any of his records. And like I said, for a long time, I kind of felt like he fell off the radar. And now, because my friend Jonathan, listening to your podcast, I'm like going, he's still around and he's still doing stuff. And of course, we watched the movie Weird, which was a lot of fun. I do think it kind of lagged during the whole Madonna section, but I was still laughing through most of the movie, so it was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's nice to go back through and revisit a lot of his stuff, and then hear a lot of it for the very first time. So, and so this has been, like I said, it's my Weird Al education, and it will continue.
Oh, I'm just proud to be part of your Weird Al renaissance.
Well, I got to thank you and Russ, actually, because you solved a musical problem I was having. And we did a quick review of the new Extreme record for my podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And the song, the song Beautiful Girls, which we talked about. And I even said on that pod, I'm like, this sounds like something else. It's bothering me. And it literally was. Like, every time I heard that song, I was like, oh my God, where do I know this song? Where do I know this song? So I'm out mowing the yard. And Russ sends me a message and said, it sounds like, Lauren said it's, Too Late for Goodbyes by Julian Lennon. I went, oh! And I stopped, turned off the mower, and I searched the song and brought it back up. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel so much better now.
It is. It is.
Yes.
Because I caught Russ listening to that Extreme album from the other room, and I couldn't hear like words or anything. I just kind of got the boom, 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 guitar riff.
Right.
And I was like, why is he listening to Julian Lennon in there? And then it started sounding different. I was like, oh, wait, And so then when he said that, you were like, Dayton says this sounds like a cover of something, but he couldn't put his finger on it. I was like, oh, yeah, that Julian Lennon song.
Oh, it was driving me crazy. I can sleep better now. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, you're welcome. We're more than happy to help. More than happy. We listened to side 4 of that album the other day, and it's definitely an appendix on purpose. Like,
yeah,
it's like, we had this in us, so please take this as more.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, it was funny, but yeah, it's a good record. And I'm, like I said, I played it for my wife, and then I said, wait a minute, I want you to hear this too. And then I played her the Julian Lennon song, and she goes, oh my God, yeah, I totally hear it. I'm like going, see, this is why you have, really nerdy music friends. Because I couldn't answer it and they did. So yay for that.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. Happy to be of service, sir. So before we wrap this up, just a quick once again, where can the listeners of the Beard Al podcast find the Dockingbay77?
Okay. Well, we are streaming free on every podcast app. I was even surprised to find we were on Audible as well. So that was kind of a nice little treat. Right? And iHeartRadio. So we're pretty much everywhere you can find podcasts. And we are on social media, Twitter at Dockingbay77pod, Facebook at Dockingbay77 podcast. And you can also send us an email at Dockingbay77podcast@gmail.com. So that's where you can find us.
Hooray. Yeah. And there was going to be links in the show notes of this so that people can click some stuff and have a good time with that. Yeah. And, Dayton, thank you for being here. This has been an absolute delight.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. This is a lot of fun. I don't get a lot. I talk with my friend John about Weird Al, but he usually goes over my head with it because he's talking about stuff. I'm like, dude, slow down.
Yeah.
So no, this was wonderful. It was a nice reason for me to get more Weird Al.
Well, I'm happy to be the reason for anyone to get more Weird Al. And I believe that is time for me to hit this button.
And that's when those security guards threw us out.
Because the show is over. And, gosh, I really don't even remember what John and I are talking about next week. But I'm sure it's going to be fun, and everybody's going to enjoy it. Because John will be back next week for something, again, like I said, absolutely enjoyable. Anyway, this has been the Beard Al Podcast, and we hope to see you next week. Dayton, thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Hooray! Dance party.
That's so again.